Hello, one and all. Welcome back to the Raging Blaze Z channel. Welcome, chess lovers. Today I'm going to tell you about the pieces of chess, how they move, how they work, and what are their values. So, let's begin. This first piece is called the king. It has infinite points because once it gets checkmated, you lose the game. Second piece is the queen. The queen is of 9 points and is very useful. It can move in any direction. Suppose if the queen is placed over here, then the queen can move diagonally, can move here, here, and here. It can move vertically and it can move horizontally. But it cannot jump over pieces. For example, let's say there is this pawn and the queen is over here. Now the queen from here cannot go over here. Why? Because this pawn is obstructing the way. But it sorry, it can still go here, 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 and here. Now it can again not go over here. Why? Because there are two pieces obstructing, one and two. It can also not go over here because there are again two pieces obstructing its path, one and two. And the queen can also come back over here. So it can move all the way over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, 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 and here, 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 and here. The queen can move to all these squares. I'll just highlight it so that it helps you. Dun, 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 dun. The queen can move to all these squares, but not the ones which are yellow. Now, um, so let us go back to the original position. Just a minute. So now, that's the queen. And now, let's see the bishops. The bishops are this and this. These pieces, you can say, are of 3.5 points. These pieces can go diagonally, but they cannot jump over pieces. This piece can also go diagonally, but they cannot jump over pieces. Now, if you see that this particular bishop is on a white square. Since it's on a white square, it can only move along white squares. Now, this particular bishop is on a black square. Black or brown depends on the board. So this is on the black square. So this can only move on black squares. This cannot go to white squares and this can definitely not go to a black square like this. So this will be all wrong. It can only go in its particular color and it can only move diagonally. Now, next piece. So those were the bishops of 3.5 points. Next, the knights. These are the knights. These are for 3 points. Now, these move in an L shape. 1, 2, and 3. Or 1, 2, and 3. So, so even this knight can go 1, 2, and a half, and a half. This The knights can move over pieces. Basically, they can jump over pieces. So, see, you are seeing that the knight is over here. It is jumping over this piece, and it is coming over here or here. This knight is jumping over this piece, and it is coming here or here. So this is how the knight moves, and its value is 3 points. Now, the rooks. These pieces are the rooks. They cannot jump over the other pieces like knights, but they can move diagonally or vertically. Sorry, horizontally or vertically. So if this piece was not in the way, then it could have gone, the rook could have gone all the way till here. So that is the rook. The rook's value is of 5 points. Now the pawns. This front line of pieces that you see over here, highlighted in green, are called the pawns. These on their first move. So these take place on the second rank. So on the first move, they can only move 2 squares. They can move 1 square or 2 squares. But once it has moved, the opponent also played the same move. Or let's say the opponent played not this, the opponent plays this. Then we cannot move 2 moves again. That would be wrong. It can only move 1 move from here. And the pawn's value is of just 1 point. So now let's see how other pieces can capture other pieces. So this is the pawn, and let's say this pawn moves over here. This pawn can only capture in a diagonal way if it is on an adjacent cell. If there was a pawn over here, then this cannot capture this. This can only move straight. Pawns can also not move backwards as it is considered to be illegal. I don't know why they kept these rules. So once they move this pawn moves d5 and then you capture it. This has been captured. Now let us see how the queen can capture this pawn. Can you guess? This queen can capture this pawn by moving straight like this. It has captured this pawn, and now we both have lost one of our pawns. So that's how the pawn captures. Let me show you once more. e4, d5, d5, and now this pawn will capture. It can only capture diagonally, so it will capture this piece. It is not necessary. You can still move this. So it is not necessary to capture. You can still go over here, and it's all good. The opponent plays this, you also develop your pieces, and blah blah blah. So that is how the pawn captures. Now let's see how the knights capture. Uh, this knight f3, and now he can the opponent can play e5. Now we can just capture this. Oops, we can just capture this easily. Do you remember I told you that the knight moves 1, 2.5 or a half? Now in this position the knight can also go to a few other squares like 1, 2.5, 1, 2 and a well no this line won't happen. 1, 2.5, 1, 2.5, and it can also come over here. But right now, currently, it cannot come as these pawns are obstructing its way. These pawns are over there, so it cannot just go and sit on top of a pawn like we sit on top of the chair. So the knight will capture this pawn by moving 1, 2.5. Now that pawn is captured. So let us see how the knight captures again. This, this, then one, two, and a half. Okay, now let us see how the bishop captures the pieces. So first of all, we need to move the pawn out of the way because right now, currently, the bishop cannot go anywhere. You see, it's blowing a whistle. Why? Because that's illegal. These two pawns are blocking its way, so it cannot move from its position. Let's play this. Overwrite. Then let's say the opponent plays this. It can also play this, but just to make you explain, it plays this. And now you see the bishop is not blocked. It is blocked from this side, yes, because of this piece side, because of this piece, but this block has been opened. So now the bishop can go all the way over here. And oh, this arrow is touching this knight. So can it go and capture? You can pause the video and take a look. Okay. So yes, it can capture. So now that this bishop has captured that knight, if you remember how the pawn captures, this particular pawn can capture the bishop. Right? I'd shown you previously that pawns can capture like this. Pawns can capture like this, and the queen can just go to the square and capture that. And to capture with the bishop, it can only go diagonally. And since this knight is on a white square, this bishop can easily capture it. If it was on a black square, which is impossible for it to come from here, then the bishop would not be able to capture it as this is a white square bishop. So that's that. Now let's see how the rooks can capture. So first of all, this rook is literally blocked. It is completely blocked from here. It is blocked from here by 1, 2, and 3 pieces. So we need to open it up. Let's play this. Overwrite. Let's play this. Let's say he just moves this. We play this. He plays this. We can also play a random move like this. And now he plays this. Now, people won't usually play like this, but this is just to make you explain. This rook can capture this knight by moving like this. If you remember how the pawn can capture, this pawn can also capture the knight by moving over here. So right now, since we are looking at how the rook captures, let's see how the rook will capture. Boom! It's that easy. Just moves from here to here and the knight is gone. Dead, killed, captured, whatever you want to say. So that's how the rook captures. And now let's see once again how the queen captures. Let's play e4. We can play this. We can just randomly play anything like this. We can play this and we can capture. Why? Now if you see at the start, the queen is completely blocked from all sides. Let me show you a red line. Block from here, block from here, block from here, block from here, block from here. And it can obviously not go backwards because it is on the last rank. That's the end of the board. So once we move this, it is only blocked from here, 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 and here. But this side is very well open. So now e4, knight f6, knight c3, knight g4, and now the queen captures the knight. Let's see once again. E this, 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 this. Okay, it's not really necessary to move this knight over here. We can just move this, or we can just move this, or we can just move, this. So you see, we have many options, but the best move in this position would be knight c3. It goes to g4, and we capture. Now, last but not the least, let's see how the king captures. So I might not have told you this before, but the king can only move one square. It cannot go two squares, it cannot go all the directions. It can move straight, it can move like this, it can go like this, this. Let's say the king was over here, then it can go here, 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 and here. Okay, right now the king cannot move over here, 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 and here. Why? Because it is blocked by these four pieces: the two pawns, this bishop, and the queen. So now the king moves over here, just over right. Let's say this bishop wants to move here. This plays this. The bishop goes over here. He plays this to give a check. I'll teach you what checks are in the next video. But right now, let's see how the king captures. The king can capture this like that. If the bishop was over, if this bishop was over here, then the king would capture by moving this. And right now, if you're wondering why the king cannot capture this, pawn, is because it is protected by the queen. It cannot put itself in check, which I'll be teaching in the next video. But over here, you tell me whether the pawn is of more value or the bishop. Obviously, the bishop is of more value. So instead of capturing the pawn, even with this pawn, which we can do, let's capture the bishop. So we have captured the bishop with the king. Now, in this video, we have seen how the value of the king, the value of the pawns, the value of the queen, the bishop, the knight, and the rook. How they move, how they can capture other pieces, and how they function. Yeah, how they function. So, there's another way the king can move in, which is called castling. You will need castling in many games to make your king safe. As I told you earlier, once the king is checkmated, there is no going back. The game is over. So, let's see how the king can castle. Let's just play random moves. Over, right? Like this. And now the king can castle. How does castling work? The king goes two squares to the right, and the rook jumps over it and comes to one square to the left of the king. So in this case, this would be played and this would be the position. It's not necessary that you play these particular string of moves that is right now playing. All this, the move of this, and this. It's not necessary. You can move this also. Now this, when you castle on the king side. So again, if you have noticed, chess board can be divided into half from the king and the queen. Let me just show you. So this is the king side and the queen side is The whole red part is the queen side and the whole yellow part is the king side. Right now, we had castled on the king side. We had castled on the king side. So now let's see how to castle on the queen side. The operation is really the same, nothing more. This is played, this is played, this is played, this is developed, this is moved over here, the queen is moved over here, this queen moved over here, and as you can see, we are free to move up. Now again, castling. How does castling work? The king goes two spaces to his right or left, and the rook uh, next to the king jumps over it. So this rook will land over here, and if the king castles on king side, uh, this rook will land over here, or no, it will land over here. So now let's see that. You see, the king went two steps to the left from here, one and two, and the rook came all the way over it. So that is the way long castling works. And now, if we go back to the start position, the king cannot castle right now. Why? Because the bishop is in between, the knight is in between. It cannot castle on the queen side. Why? Because the queen, bishop, and knight are in between. So as you saw, with the string of moves, we moved the pieces out of the way, and then we castled. Again, we moved our pieces out of the way, then we castled. So another name for queen side castling, which is castling over here, not exactly there, over here, is called long castling. The king side castling, which is when the king castles to the right, is also called short castling. So this was the how the king functions, how the queen functions, how the bishop, knight, and rook and pawns function, what are their values, how do they capture pieces, and how do they move video. So see you in the next video in which I'll be teaching you about checks and checkmates. Bye!